ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Financial Survival, sponsored by Discount Gold and Silver Trading. I'm Melody Cedarstrom, and today is Wednesday, January 28th, 2009, and thank you for joining us today. I guess it's the snow that we're getting here in the Northeast, along with a little bit of ice, so it makes it a very unpleasant day, gloomy day here in the Northeast, but hopefully it will be short-lived, and spring is not too far away. 800-375-4188. That is 1-800-375-4188 for all your gold and silver coin needs. And, of course, please visit our website at discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. That is discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. And, of course, email questions for the program. You can direct them to discountgoldandsilver@yahoo.com. That is discountgoldandsilver@yahoo.com. Well, we were going to go into the numbers right away, but I'm having some problems with the computer. I work off a laptop. It was dropped. It takes a little bit of time for it to reboot. So we'll go ahead and do some other things. And perhaps Robert Chapman of the International Forecaster, who joins us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, can give us some closing numbers on the markets and until my computer gets up to date. So continue to send us those emails because we'll have them here shortly. Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Well, the outside month is off $11.40 on gold and 19 cents on silver. If you remember Monday, I told you that I felt that on Tuesday and Wednesday that gold would be down, and the reason why was that the commercials who write the options on gold and silver had an awful lot of gold options at 900 and 890 respectively. And I said that they would knock the price down so that those people who had those options up until expiration would not be able to exercise them and make money. And like every other month, they did it again this month. It's called market manipulation. And, of course, we have no regulators. There's a thing called the CFTC, but they don't do anything about anything. And so, consequently, the market was rigged. So tomorrow, gold will go back up again. The stock market is up 201 points on some of the most dreadful news I've ever seen, 83.76. And the financial stocks are very strong. They're all up probably 30 or 40% off their recent lows. And I believe that the debt that they're stuck with is not going to go away. The banks are stuck with about, it's hard to nail it down, but I'll use the figure $1.6 trillion they're still offside. And so they ain't going to get better anytime soon. And we have our government in there pushing the market up. And the reason they're doing that is that they think that this evening that this package for stimulus will be passed. And it probably will, because Congress does whatever their bankers tell them to do. And so that's where we're headed on that. I think what we should do here is probably dig into some of these questions. We've got a few that Melody and I have gotten. That first one, Melody, do you have it? Did you print it out, living in a rental apartment in the city?
Yes.
Okay, and he talks about, I really want to store my gold and silver in a safety deposit box in the bank. After having taken them out of the bank, and when leaving home, I have actually had them in the trunk of my car. Every time I think about moving them, I end up sitting with them on the table for hours just wondering what to do with them, thinking of various strategies and ending up not really having secured. Also, when traveling out of town, sometimes for weeks at a time, I am not comfortable leaving precious metals at my apartment unattended, and I don't have anyone to leave them with. What issues exactly should I be concerned with leaving my precious metals in a bank vault? That's the first part of the question. So the problem is that Homeland Security has access to your account, and if they say there's an emergency and they can go into the account, the safety deposit boxes, then what would happen would be they would be able to remove anything they wanted. And there's no guarantee, because there's so many crooks working for Homeland Security and many other policing agencies for that matter, that you may never see them again. Or, if were they to confiscate, the first place they go to is safe deposit boxes. Among bullion bars and coins, pre-1933 foreign gold, pre-1933 U.S. gold numismatics, which are the safest at the bank? Melody?
My phone beat that right as you were saying that last part, and I didn't hear it. I was listening.
Among bullion bars and coins, pre-1933 foreign gold, pre-1933 U.S. gold numismatics, which are the safest at the bank?
Well, I would think the safest at the bank would be the $20 gold pieces.
Right, and they would be pre-33 mint state graded coins.
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
Bob, I find that everybody wants something in black and white. They want an absolute that everything is perfect. They need a road to where they're going to be 100% accurate. And, you hear a lot of these pre-1933 dates. They're all exempt from confiscation and so forth and whatnot. And folks, if they redid the confiscation laws, they would be changed based on today's, what's happening in today's world, not 1933. But a way that you can figure it out is if you go to the 33 Executive Order, Coins of Rare and Unusual Value, the IRS stipulates a numismatic coin is a coin that sells at 50% of its melt value. So if you have a bullion bar selling at spot gold, I highly think, or a pre-33 coin that's based on melt value, most likely it wouldn't be considered a collectible coin or a numismatic. So therefore, you could probably safely assume that your $20 gold pieces, of course, that sell above the 50% gold line would be exempt from any sort of confiscation should they decide to do it.
And the last part of the question, at this time, until I have a secure private place to store precious metals, if they put them in the bank vault, what might be the signals to remove them? I think if you're forced to go to a vault, you certainly got to be a subscriber to the International Forecaster. If you're not going to learn. And second of all, I think some telltale signs would be the execution of other Homeland Security type orders. Once they start that thing, they'll go bananas. You got to remember they're criminals, and once into the safe, so to speak, they'll go after everything. So the minute you see them move on any front against the American people, and you can figure they're going to go after everything, or try to at least.
Another thing that they can do if they want to protect themselves against any type of bank failure, depending on the amount of product that you have, is you can always use two different banks. Store some in one bank and store some in another bank. And, Bob, you're right about that. I tell my customers if the bank, the only way you can do it, the bank vault, and I do have elderly people who they still feel that's where they want to have it, is if another 911 happens, I wouldn't even wait for any Homeland executive orders. I would just go down there and get it out. because you can always put it back. And so, I wouldn't wait to see what happens. And you certainly don't want to base any of your decisions on some of the news articles that you read out there. And Bob's right. You need to get his articles because, and what we talk about on this program, because there's so much disinformation that's going on out there. It's unbelievable. And you don't want to be jumping at every article that you read that puts a little fear into you. But so that's what I would do if you were looking to protect yourself against bank failures. Divide it up against 2 banks, and if you have a whole bunch, 3 banks.
Next question is from John and Mrs. Cedarstrom.